my question is about synchronicities in our lives. Like many people, I've experienced powerfully meaningful synchronicity, and they really feel as if they're the result of an agency that has a perspective that transcends space and time. Like one example is when I moved across country from Brooklyn to California in the late 60s, in part to get away from a very alienated relationship with my family, but also to become a hippie in Ashbury, but that's another story. But what happened is that after being away for about a year, I saw something that prompted me with a powerful desire to go back and see my father. And so I found a way to do that. And we had what felt like our first attempts to reach and understand each other very briefly in a conversation, only to discover 2 days later that he died unexpectedly from a ruptured brain aneurysm. So, like when we consult the I Ching with random coin tosses, it's very hard not to take events like that personally. And I guess I wonder how you understand the sources and implications on synchronicities like that.
Yes. We haven't talked about this very much this weekend. We've been focusing on being and the divine name. But if the ultimate reality of the universe is consciousness rather than matter, then and the universe is the activity, how the activity of consciousness appears from our localized perspectives, then what the universe is on the outside, namely the activity of consciousness, and what we are on the inside, which is a mind, a mini field of consciousness, are the same. The mind would just be a localized aspect of infinite consciousness. So there would be complete correspondence between mind on the inside with a small m and mind on the outside with a large M, infinite consciousness. And if this is true, then the fact that these synchronicities appear should not be surprising. If the world was made out of, if the universe was essentially made out of matter, and the essential nature of ourself on the inside was mind, then there would be no correspondence between the two, or very little correspondence between the two. But if they're both aspects of the same system, that the finite mind is just a localization of the infinite mind, infinite consciousness, then the fact that these synchronicities appear shouldn't be surprising. And for instance, that this deep connection that you have with your father, although there was obviously conflict there, the imminence of his death, which of course your mind didn't know, but if your father's mind and your own mind are precipitated in the same field of infinite consciousness, then they are connected to each other, even if the waking state mind is not aware of that connection. So your father's imminent death, even if he wasn't aware of his imminent death, something in the deeper regions of his psyche may have intuited it. There's no reason why that information shouldn't have been shared in some way with your own mind, because your own mind and your father's mind are deeply connected at the deepest level. And that in order to make you aware of what was taking place in your father's mind, something appeared in your world in California to trigger this impulse in you to fly across the country and go back to see your father, and you had this conversation 2 days before he died. Why not? If your two minds were separate, then that would be a coincidence. An extraordinary coincidence, but nevertheless a coincidence. But the fact that your two minds are connected, they appear in the same field of infinite consciousness. And the fact that your world that you perceived in California was made out of the same stuff as your own mind makes it quite plausible that something would appear in your world to trigger an impulse to fly home to see your father before he died. Why not?
Yeah, once again, that rings with such clarity. I mean, it echoes the analogy you use with the dreamer.
exactly. I was just thinking of that. Imagine two people in a dream that they sit down and they're having tea together. Sorry, Chris, I interrupted you. Two people in your dream, two people sit down, they meet each other, they're having tea with each other. One of them intuits what the other is thinking. Well, they shouldn't be able to do that. Why does it happen? Because both of their minds are manifestation of the dreamer's mind. Of course, there's connection between them.
Wow.
Doesn't mean they can read each other all the time, but their minds are porous, they're open, and some information can pass subliminally from one to the other because they're localizations of the same mind. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm just
No, that's
elaborating on what
exactly
you.
what I was going to say. I mean, that's what's beautiful
Well,
about that dream analogy. That is that all that happens to the localized dream mind takes place within the greater mind of the dreamer. And so the fact that there are correspondences and synchronicities and intuitions is perfectly logical.
and to be expected, exactly. The universe is a dream in infinite consciousness's mind, and we are all localizations in the dreamer's mind. So there's only one mind. We're all profound. Not only are we all individuals profoundly connected, but we in the environment, we in the world that we live in, we're all part of the same system.
As I said, I don't think that there's a person who doesn't have synchronistic events. And so it seems to me as if what you're saying is that these synchronicities are like verifications of the greater mind with a field that all of us participate in, that it's evidence of that fact.
Yes.
That's
yes.
very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.